Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2020 Dodge Journey. I'm going to walk through how to install the Curt power converter taillight wiring. It's going to give us all the proper functions that we need for pulling a trailer without brakes. Both turn signals, your running lights, and your brake lights. This is a great addition, especially if you're adding a receiver on and you ever plan on towing. Adding wiring is a must because you got to have the taillights and everything working on the trailer to be legal. The Curt powered converter is a great option. It's the converter box is actually going to protect your factory wiring from any backfeed from the trailer if there's a wiring issue on the trailer side. It's going to connect directly to your factory taillights with plugs. Keep in mind there are two types of wiring harnesses. One for LED lights and one for incandescent, so you need to make sure you check to determine what your vehicle has before you purchase the wiring for it. As far as the installation process, it's pretty simple and straightforward. It's going to come with everything you need. I will suggest the butt connectors that come in it, exchanging those out for heat shrink butt connectors. It's going to make the connection, since it's outside the vehicle, much better to keep those connections from corroding. And those are the connections between your power wire that runs up to the front and then your fuse holder that you hook to the positive side of the battery. You can find those butt connectors here at eTrailer. When you order it, order a couple butt connectors with it. You can probably find them at any hardware store or anything like that as well. You have connectors over on your driver's side. The pocket behind your fascia is wide open, so you can drop everything down, run it over to your passenger's side, pull it up, get it connected to the passenger's side, and then as far as running your power wire to the front to the battery, it's just as simple as finding a route where factory wiring or lines are ran to keep it up and away from anything hot or moving. If it's something you may not have the time or space to do, you can check out our dealer locator and find someone near you that is able to put it in. If you want to give it a try, I promise you can get it done in your driveway or your garage. Follow along with me and I'll walk through how to do it now. To start your installation, we're going to come to the inside of the taillight. We're going to have two fasteners. Take a flathead screwdriver, trim panel tool. We'll get underneath that center part there. Pop that out. And pull that whole thing out. Do that same thing to this one. We're going to take our taillight, pull it straight out. Now, it may be easier if you have a little plastic trim panel tool, kind of put it in the edge of the light. Then we need to disconnect our wiring. Pull this tab up. This one you're going to push in right here. We'll set our light aside. We're going to do that same thing on the opposite side of the vehicle. Take your wiring out of the packaging, take the rubber bands off it, and unwind everything. You're going to have a short black wire coming off your converter box and a bundle of black wire. We're going to go ahead and install this on there now because there's not a whole lot of room underneath to get up to this wire to get this connected. It'll just make it easier if it's already done. Straight back in. Your kit comes with butt connectors. I suggest changing them out for heat shrink. It's going to help protect that connection, and it'll last a lot longer for you. Add it onto the black wire. Then we'll shrink that up with our heat source. Now we're going to take everything and drop it down through this pocket between our bumper fascia and the body of the vehicle. Pretty large opening, so it'll come out the bottom. The only thing we're not going to drop down in there is these 4 plugs with the red, yellow, white, and brown wire. Everything else we drop down, we'll make it come out the bottom. Get it all plugged together. We can do our ground right there with the self-tapping screw that comes in the kit. This will plug into the back of our taillight. This will plug in the back of our taillight. We can reinstall the taillight. And to make sure when you put that tapper in, this ring terminal doesn't move. Go ahead and reinstall your taillight once you got it connected. Then we're going to go over to our passenger side, and you're going to run a pull wire down. You can use pretty much anything. I have some airline tube here. What you might have at home is a piece of string. Put a nut on it or bolt and drive it down in there. That'll allow you to tie the end of your wire to it and pull it back up. Once you got that down, we're going to go underneath the vehicle and run the green wire over and get it pulled up to the passenger side. So your converter box, which is a black box that we fed down, it needs to be secured. Your kit's going to come with some two-sided sticky tape. It's going to look like this. What you need to do is take some rubbing alcohol and wipe down this inside edge, or this edge of this metal here, and make sure it's clean. You're going to take that tape, stick it on the back of the box, and then stick it to this panel right here. That's going to secure that in place. Now we're going to take the green wire, we're going to run it over to our passenger side, our 4-pole in, we're going to route it over, only we're going to come down right here. You're not going to be able to see it when I'm doing it, so I'm going to do it and I'll show you how, but I'll explain it real quick. You got a flashlight and you look up. Right above the bumper beam, there's a hole at the top. So if you reach up, you can feed that wiring over the top. We can route it across, get it over top the other side. That'll keep everything away from our exhaust. You can always use a pull wire. Just go over the top of that, feed it, one way or the other. Tie your wires to the end of it, and that'll allow you to get them over the top of that. So here they are here. I'm going to go ahead and take the 4-pole end off and then continue on with my green wire over to the passenger side. And then this is the pull wire we ran down earlier from our passenger side taillight pocket. There's a lot of extra line here, so what I suggest is taking the zip tie that comes in your kit, zip tying it right here to the factory wiring to kind of secure it up so it doesn't fall back down and get tangled on top of that exhaust. You can really zip tie it anywhere up here just so it stays up tight. For our passenger side, we're only going to have one plug. That's going to be the gray one that comes off our wiring harness, and of course the smaller factory plug. Then we can just reinstall our taillight. Take the rest of this, bundle it up. I'm going to zip tie it right up here on the frame, or I'm sorry, on the hitch. It's completely up to you. You can actually get a bracket to give your 4-pole a little bit better or more permanent spot. You can also use your dust cover to hold it to the safety chain loop on the receiver, like that. Then when you want to use it, run it right over the top like this, and then hook it to your trailer. I'm going to go ahead and run this power wire up to the engine compartment, get it pulled up, and when I bring the car back down, pull this wire up, then I can do this passenger side taillight at the same time. This is my wire here. There's actually a gap between the receiver hitch and the frame rail. I just ran it straight across to the inside. Then went up over top of my exhaust mount there. And then all of this wiring that's here, ran it right over the top of my subframe. Comes out right here. Ran it around to the outside. There's a bracket here that holds on your emergency brake cable. ran it right through that bracket, went right around through here, over these hard lines, and over the top. Just filed these hard lines using these brackets to hold it up. All the way up here to the front, went through here, and this is my pull wire. Now we can go up top and I can pull my wire up and get it connected to the battery. This is my wire here. I'm going to zip tie it right to this wiring here. That'll hold it up tight, keep it from dropping back down anywhere to the bottom of the vehicle. So we're going to be making our connection here because our battery sits way down in this hole. We can't get to it. This is our positive, runs to our positive side of our battery. Take your fuse holder, make sure the fuse isn't in it. These two ends are both pre-stripped. Put a ring terminal on one end. Opposite end, put another butt connector. We're going to take our black wire. We've got quite a bit of extra. It's going to cut off what we don't need here. Use a heat source to shrink that up. 15mm socket will take that nut off, put the ring terminal on, and reinstall the nut. Once you get it all connected, go ahead, insert your fuse. Now we'll test out our wiring using part number I26. Left turn, right turn, brakes, running lights. Once you've tested everything out, you know it's working correctly, you're ready to go. It's going to do it for a look at installation of the Curt 4-pole wiring harness on a 2020 Dodge Journey.